See, Robert and Josh, we got Goblins versus Mono White Aggro. Josh in the black, Robert in the red jacket. Might be a little more appropriate if Josh was wearing a white shirt and Robert was wearing a red shirt, but it's okay. Well, we'll pretend. All right, so be interesting to see who has the play. It's definitely going to be an advantage in the aggro matchups. But I can't wait to see the mono white deck in action. This looks.
For those of you who are just joining us here, this is Star City Games Live, coming to you from Atlanta. The first event of this StarCityGames.com Open Series, and we're going to be ending this season in Baltimore for our eventual invitational. So that's going to be pretty exciting when we get about 3 months away from now and having people come up to Baltimore.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, 4 invitationals this year is
it's awesome.
Quite the feat, but I'm sure we can pull it off, and I'm sure everybody will have a great time coming. So
absolutely,
it'll be interesting to see how Legacy evolves by the time we get to Baltimore and Dark Ascension comes out. So I don't think Avacyn Restored will be out by the time the Invitational comes around, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure on the release date.
I always struggle on the release dates.
It's like Robert is taking a mulligan here?
Most likely. There is one other interesting card. Robert Cohn, he's playing 61 cards. His 61st card is a Miser's Singleton Goblin Grenade.
Ooh.
And, that's actually kind of interesting, because for the most part, Goblins, as an archetype in Legacy, it plays out, just pushes all kinds of stuff onto the table, and it doesn't really have anything that's going to be very surprising. If it has a lord out, like a war chief or a chieftain, it can, have more attacking you than you might have realized was going to come. But that's the only real way it has a surprise factor. A Goblin Grenade to potentially kill someone out of nowhere. That's kind of interesting. I'm not sure if it's good, but I don't mind one Goblin Grenade.
Well, I like the one Goblin Grenade. I think that's. I agree with you. I think that it's kind of one of those come out of nowhere cards, and I think it might do well. So. Ooh,
oh, Robert going down one more time. It's like down to 5 cards. Josh, I'm going to say Burgoa. Josh Burgoa giving a smile there. I'm one of those people that I never verbalize that I'm happy to see my opponent mulligan, but I do have to say, in my head, I'm like, whew, yes.
Like, all right, let's go. Well, I always prefer to have games where we're both on equal footing there. I hate it when they mulligan, especially if it's just like they just mulligan to oblivion and you just destroy them, and like I almost like don't want to play stuff because I don't want to destroy them. But
to be fair, if every opponent I had always mulliganed down to 3 or 4 cards, I probably wouldn't play Magic anymore.
No, it wouldn't be a very fun game, not at all. So hopefully Robert will get a good 5 and we'll see a good game of Magic here. That's what I'm rooting for. But I definitely think I'm leaning more towards the Death and Taxes deck.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think in terms of what I would like to see do well, it's partly that I love seeing the Flicker Wisps.
I know, that's such a spicy card. I mean, just kind of looking at this deck, it could almost be played in Modern.
And on the Salmalka front, Salmalka takes yet another one down. 1 second, I'm going to give him a high five.
Yeah!
In the games and play front, we have a turn 1 Goblin Lackey. And so this is one of the exact opening draws that you're going to want to see from Goblins. He's got other things he can put in here that could make this double mulligan into something really scary. A Siege Gang Commander could come down on turn 2.
Who knows? I can't see his hand, so looks like Josh just leads with the Plains. He's probably got Swords to Plowshares for that Lackey. But I don't know, they're holding their hands up, so we can't quite see what's in there. Swings in, and bye-bye, Mr. Lackey. And Robert taps 2. And Okay, so Josh goes for his turn, draws a wasteland. I think he's got another wasteland in there. And he goes for Stoneforge Mystic, looks like.
Probably going to go fetching up. I believe he has a Sword of Fire and Ice in his deck. There he does. He does have a Sword of Fire and Ice. He might get Umezawa's Jite, but I think that sword is going to be a little bit more effective at this point.
I think so too. But Jite can be pretty good against goblins, but goblins can get extremely explosive quick, and even with Robert only having so few cards in hand, it's still, you know, he's still not out of the game. So
if you want to ever look up what a Jite is, it's actually kind of a disgusting little weapon.
And what does a Jite do?
Well, you weren't supposed to have blades around the Emperor, and so it was used to hook into things, and so you use it to like hook into people's like face.
Oh. That's
Clothes more
nice.
often, but if you wanted to be really mean, you could go into whatever there was around.
All right, so Robert's got an Aether Vial and a Mogwar Marshal. And he played a Wasteland this turn.
That's a scary looking goblin token right there. Aether Vial.
See what I mean? This deck can get explosive quick. I mean, he's mulled to 5, but he's got, you know, 4 permanents in play, or excuse me, 7 permanents in play, 4 creatures, or 3 creatures, 1 artifact.
Right. He can threaten to attack on this next turn, presuming, you know, that he doesn't let the Moog War Marshal die and then just top deck a Chieftain. The safe play will let him attack for 7. Obviously, well, 6 after the block from the Mystic. Wasteland from Josh Burgoa.
Let's see if we can... He's got the Jite, we know. He's keeping his hand pretty guarded.
This might be just a moment where you pass.
Oh, he's got a Sarah Avenger.
Robert Cohn putting on the table a now legal reminder so that he does not forget to pay for Moog War Marshal. Back in the day, you could not give yourself reminders like that. Flicker Wisp comes into play, and it's going to flicker something out for a moment. Does that resolve? No cards in hand. Robert's going to be like, yeah, I guess so. Away goes the Mystic.
And probably going to go get that
Comes
sword.
back.
Very nice.
Sword of Fire and Ice.
Okay.
He untaps. He removes his reminder counter, puts it on the Aether Vial. Does he remember? He almost doesn't do it. Oh, okay.
Almost.
He chooses not to do it this time. Okay.
Well, still doesn't want to get that.
He's hoping for a top deck here.
And
A Goblin Sheaf, for example.
ooh. Checks how many cards Josh has.
Now he wants the Chieftain here, I believe, rather than the War Chief.
The Chieftain gives his creatures haste, so it gives that other that brand new Goblin token power to swing in.
And also the +1/+1 is the thing he's hoping for as well. But what is it? What does he have? I can't quite make it out. Can you?
I can't see either. Both these
Comes
players
in.
keep their hands
That
not where we can see.
The Pile Driver becomes a 3/2, easily tradable from the Wisp, and the other Goblin a 1/1.
So
He loses a token, trades the Pile Driver for the Flicker Wisp.
I think that's a fair trade.
I'm not happy with it, honestly. He lost 2 of his cards there to get rid of a Flicker Wisp. Wasteland's the Wasteland, and what else you got there, Robert? Is that all? That's all. Josh Burgoa draws.
Another Stoneforge Mystic.
Wasteland in hand. Josh taps 2 mana. Is this going to be a Sarah Avenger?
I think so. It's the only other card I know in his hand, at least.
Umezawa's
the Jite.
Jite.
Nice.
Taps 1 mana for an Aether Vial.
Alright. And ships the turn. And he puts in another. That's Goblin Lackey. Yes.
Up to 2 on the Aether Vial.
Draws. Probably not what he wants to draw.
The best card he could draw right here is a Gem Palm Incinerator.
Or even 2 or 3 cards.
Well, the Gem Palm would kill the Mystic and then draw him a card. So
Right.
that would be pretty good.
That'd be like drawing 2 cards. But definitely in a tight spot, for sure.
2 mana. He equips the Jite.
And
Attacks.
yeah, I think Josh is definitely fine with trading his Stoneforge Mystic for those 2 goblins.
Both the goblins block. A Swords to Plowshares here would be pretty devastating. Actually, you know, even nothing happening is still pretty devastating.
Yeah. I mean, he has to get rid of 2 of his guys. And the Jite gets counters, and it's just about game, boys.
He has to sacrifice that token before there's going to be both of them dead. There we go. And now they're both dead. Well, he's like, whoa, which one are you killing? Okay. Lackey's going to die.
Sure.
And now he just leaves that Jite out there with the 2 tokens. 2 mana, Sarah Avenger.
And
there
she
it is.
comes. Such an interesting card. You can't play it on the first 3 turns.
I agree. It's really, really cool.
But let's see. Is that an Earwig Squad?
Attack for none.
Nope.
Vial goes up to 2, I believe. Stoneforge Mystic in hand. I can't see any other cards. I know that there's a Sword of Fire and Ice in hand, though, as well. There's a Wasteland.
I think this was Shoddy Import, but same difference.
Oh, is that a Rishan Port? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 4. And Sarah Angel gets suited up.
Attacks for at least 2, maybe more. Sorry, at least 3.
3.
At least 3, maybe more.
Looks like looks like he's gonna pump some. Me? And here comes the sword. And looks like Robert's asking what kind of lance he's got in play. But it's really tough for him. Really tough for him right now. He's got a Goblin Lackey, Earwig Squad, and it looks like maybe, is that another Aether Vial?
Lackey. I can't tell. I think it's a vial.
Looks like some conversing going on. Maybe Josh is saying, well, this is how I can kill you. And Josh untaps very coolly. Drops Stoneforge. Oh, excuse me. He just uses Aether Vial to get that Stoneforge in. So good. I think he's going to go get the Sword of Feast and Famine. And there it is. So many equipments.
Only the 3, but that's all of 3 of them.
Well, I mean, in play, that's... Whew.
With 4 Stoneforge Mystic and Flicker Wisp, he can expect that most games he'll have out both of those equipment. As long as he's not dead or his opponent isn't already dead.
Oh, of course. That can happen in Legacy. I did not see what he drew.
Indicates an attack with the Sarah Avenger.
She has been a cruel mistress this game.
Equip. Guess we're not quite ready to attack.
comes a Flicker Wisp.
Flicker Wisp. Gonna get rid of that token, I bet.
Almost looked like he was pointing towards the Ether Vial, which probably is incorrect.
Wow, you know, he's like, good enough.
Yep.
Well, I suppose if he gets rid of the Aether Vial, then there's no sneaky tricks that can happen during combat.
Okay, so let's look at these sideboards here.
Okay, what we're probably going to see from the Goblins list, Shattering Spree maybe, but the thing is, even though his opponent has Aether Vial and has Equipment plus Stoneforge Mystic plus Flicker Wisp, it's one of those cards that you're probably not going to bring in all three unless you think that the equipment is really, really scary. So we'll have to see what Robert Cohn thinks. I think you're going to bring in some number of them. Probably two, maybe the third, but I'm not sure about anything else.
Yeah, I would say 1 or 2 would be a fine number.
Now, he knows he's playing against a deck with Sarah Avenger and Aether Vial, so that means there's going to be a lot of creatures, most likely. Sharpshooter is probably a really good option against a lot of creatures. His Earwig squads seem a little bit underwhelming to me for the most part. I might get rid of the Earwig squads. Pile Driver also seems like it's not necessarily all that great. Pile Driver often a card that's not that great unless you're in a true racing situation. And I think you might just replace some of those cards with the Shattering Spree, Sharpshooter, and perhaps just a couple of Thought Seizes to keep his opponent off of his toes.
This seems pretty good. Let's see, Josh has got 3 Enlightened Tutors, Tormod's Crypt, Relic of Progenitus, Absolute Law, Aethersworn Canoness, 3 Leonin Arbiter, 1 Menriki Gusari, 1 Stony Silence, 1 Wheel of Sun and Moon, 1 Aura of Grace, and 1 Batterskull. So I think he's pretty favored here already.
I don't mind Leonin Arbiter as a card to bring in against Goblin Matron, which he knows is going to be in his opponent's deck, and also it's not a terrible card just to slow down fetch lands from an opponent that has probably at least 4, but maybe even 8 fetch lands. In this case, the number is 6.
Yeah, well, of course, Josh doesn't know the exact number, and
it's just usually common. The Goblin decks do have like some 8. Number. Batterskull is another card, actually. I think.
Yeah, I would bring that one in to help gain back some of the life loss if he gets an aggressive draw. But he's got Tormod's Crypt, Relic of Progenitus, Wheel of Sun and Moon. I don't think that's gonna really help him out. I mean, that's for Dredge. The Enlightened Tutors, I don't really see those. Absolute Law.
Absolute Law is very good, but I think that's the black one. Nope, that's the red one. Creatures gain protection from red.
Okay, yeah.
Now he's bringing in that one.
Yeah, I was
bringing in
Absolute
Law.
Most definitely. Let's see. Aethersworn Canoness, I don't see that coming in. The Menriki Gusari, no. Stony Silence, now that's...
It turns off artifact activations.
Yeah, so no. And Aura of Silence...
That's a Seal of Cleansing that has the additional ability of making opponents' enchantments and artifacts cost 2 more.
That's right, yeah. So, again, not something he'd bring in. So, and he seems really favored in this matchup anyway, so I might see him bring out the Mangara of Corondors. Those guys seem pretty slow. Let's see. Maybe the Phyrexian Revokers? That seemed pretty good, though.
Revoker can turn off Aether Vial, but it turns off your own Aether Vial.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there are not going to be very many cards that he's likely to see from his opponent.
He might take out the 1 Aven Mind Sensor. I don't really see that doing too terribly much. Even in this matchup, it seems like the most it could be is a 2/1 flyer. It kind of shuts off his fetch lands, but. Jotun Brent seems fine. Mother Room seems fine.
Now Robert Cohn here, he's definitely hoping to get a chance to play with a full hand. Did he go down to 5 this game?
Yeah, he went down to 5
that
game.
Rough.
So I mean, he was definitely on the back play the whole game. But he'll be on the play this game, and hopefully he'll have a good draw. I like watching good games of Magic. And that was a pretty good game. It was pretty well fought for having a 5-card hand.
Robert Cohn did what he could. I mean, he was going to be behind pretty much from the get-go, and he did what he could.
Josh is looking like he's feeling pretty confident. So, interesting to see how game 2 goes.
For those of you who are just joining us, you are here at the very first Star City Games Live Open Series of the year in Atlanta. Normally I'd like to say sunny Atlanta, but today has been a day of fog. This whole convention center looked like it had been accidentally transported to the world of Silent Hill, and it was pretty creepy out there this morning. Thankfully, no